Discover the magic of artificial intelligence at MySci. UAlbany professor Oliver Wasso discusses AI and the arts. And catch a performance from Eddie Award-winning artist Sydney Worthley. It's all ahead on this episode of AHA, A House for Arts.
Funding for AHA has been provided by your contribution and by contributions to the WMHT Venture Fund. Contributors include the Leo Cox Beach Philanthropic Foundation, Chet and Karen Alpelka, Robert and Doris Fisher-Melisardi, and the Robeson Family Foundation.
At M&T Bank, we understand that the vitality of our communities is crucial to our continued success. That's why we take an active role in our community. M&T Bank is pleased to support WMHT programming that highlights the arts, and we invite you to do the same.
Hi, I'm Matt Rogowitz, in for Jade Warwick, and this is AHA, A House for Arts, a place for all things creative. I recently took a trip to MySci, the Museum of Innovation and Science in Schenectady, to get a peek at an interactive exhibit called Artificial Intelligence, Your Mind and the Machine. Take a look.
MySci's collections, which are extraordinary and the only ones of this kind in the world, chronicle the electrical evolution of the world, which happened right here in Schenectady. MySci will be 90 years old in 2024. It moved to this building in 1969, very sci-fi. If you Google map us and look from satellite view, we look like the Starship Enterprise, sans our engines in the back, but we're going to get those one day. We've become really a very much interactive STEAM museum: science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. And we added the arts because really, you can't explain complex ideas to people without some diagrams or illustrations. Me as a former paleontologist, right, I need an illustrator to show people what that animal would have looked like in life. It's the same thing here. This is the Jane Golub Gallery. It opened about 2 years ago. And this is all about applied math. And it's really to get kids to understand that math is a language, and we use it every day, whether we realize it or not, and it's in everything we do. Whether we're gaming, whether we're, playing an instrument, that's what's happening over here, and it's really hands-on. And then we have another gallery to the other side, which is 5,000 square feet of our changing exhibit space. And so we change that twice a year. In the fall, we put on exhibits that we curate from our collections. And in the summertime, in May, we rent a national traveling exhibit like this one. This is AI, Your Mind and the Machine. Its producer, H.P. Newquist, is a writer. He's written many books, but he was actually the editor of the first AI magazine. And so Harvey actually created this exhibit, and it really explains the long-term fascination that humans have had about having artificial intelligence, going back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, imagining what it would be like to have a robot. This one here is very family friendly, and really the interactives in this exhibit, turns out, are very cutting edge. They're only about a year old, and some of them weren't even released to the public until this exhibit started traveling. You can go in there and try to outsmart it to draw an image, and while you're doing it kind of like on the old Etch-a-Sketch, it tries to guess what the image is that you are doing.
I won. Okay.
We have another one that really speaks to what's happening today with the Actors Guild, right, and the writers, because you can now create a persona using an actor's face and voice. So there's quite a few different things to play with. I think after you're 60, technology is really hard, and I get to say that. But I do think that kids they're fearless. They are fearless, and so they'll just touch and explore, and they remember things. You know, like that game with the cards, like try to match the cards, turn them over. They're much better at it than adults are, and it's the same thing with the interactives here, and they're really enjoying it. But we have seen a massive uptick in just adults coming because they've seen us on television, they've heard about AI, and they're coming to educate themselves. And I have to say, you know, science is for everybody, right? Everything that we do, everything that we wear is created by science. It's not just for kids, right? It's for adults. And if you want to maintain relevancy and you want to continue to create folds in your gray matter the older you get, you need to come to a museum like this and learn about what's going on in science. It's fascinating. Come and learn about what AI is and understand that it's not to be feared. It's just the next revolution of where society is going.
Oliver Wasso is a professor at UAlbany and a fine art photographer who has been using artificial intelligence in his work for years. I spoke with Oliver about how AI is changing the art scene. Should artists be worried? Let's see what Oliver had to say. Oliver, thank you for being here. Tell us, why is there so much buzz right now about AI? It's in the news every day.
It is in the news every day, and I think AI has been around for quite a while. If you think about it, a calculator, that we've all used for our whole lives, is AI. And I think one of the reasons for the increased buzz right now is just the sort of exponential speed at which it's not only developing now, but is sort of manifest in our lives in ways that used to, I think, be more under the curtain, under the rug, where you didn't see it.
Photography, you're a photographer. Photography, when that started, there was also a buzz about the machine taking away art.
Yeah, I think anytime a new technology comes along, it is met with a lot of attention. I mean, particularly if it's a technology that is clearly a kind of rupture with the past, and it's often met with a lot of hostility. In the 19th century, the most famous critic of and proponent of modernism, Baudelaire, hated photography. He said that it was going to, destroy painting, and that it was just a slavish machine, and it would destroy art. And of course, it didn't destroy painting; it did radically change it. And new technologies do tend to supplant and alter the ones that came before them. In the case of painting, it didn't have to do what photography did, which was sort of, create portraits. And while people still painted portraits, painting became more abstract. But it didn't die. It continued.
And I think also with AI, part of the reason why there's so much buzz right now is people don't understand what it really is, at least right now. I think we know what the camera is now, but with AI, it's kind of like, what are we talking? Robots painting flowers? What are we talking about?
Right. How it works on the simplest level is it studies pre-existing images. There's a program that studies learns a language model of pre-existing images, and then in the case of visual text generators, you enter text, it draws on sort of what it understands a cat to be from what it studied of visual images that exist out there, literally billions of them, and then it replicates one. It's not actually using pieces of pre-existing imagery as much as it is learning from it.
Okay. So, I mean, I think people might have seen so-called deep fake videos,
Yeah.
trailers or whatnot of movies. There's one with Jim Carrey, his face on Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it looks really real. What kind of issues does this technology raise?
I think there's a lot of ethical issues that people are particularly focused on, which have to, and there's also financial issues, and there's copyright issues. And all of these issues, I think, are sort of based on our understanding, again, of what came before it. So we look at something like, if someone chooses to enter text and say, make me an image in the style of, it's going to copy that other artist. But that's just one small sort of fraction of what people can do with this stuff. And of course, a painter can also paint in the style of an artist as well. So I think that's one of the issues that comes up, is this idea of authorship and copyright. There's they're all legitimate concerns, but I think in particular the ethical issues around journalism, because we live in a culture that has come to rely on photographs, even though we all know that photographs aren't real, they don't tell the truth, they still have a foot in, the world of veracity and believability. And a lot of the power of journalism is undercut by these if we can't trust photographs. And I think that's a legitimate issue, which I'm hoping that in some way will be addressed, whether it's through metadata being embedded in images, or somehow we still need, hopefully, to have some kind of a semblance of truth to photographs. But I think it's also good if people distrust photographs. I mean, we shouldn't be believing necessarily what we see. And then the other issue I think that comes up is this question of originality. And that's the one that I am least concerned about, but as an artist, I hear about the most, because I think people have this vision of machines, computers making art, and it's cold, and it's inhuman, and it's soulless. But in fact, you need to be an artist to use this technology to make good art. And it's not a machine making an art, it's a person using a tool, in this case AI, to make art. Without the human, the art doesn't exist. So yeah, a lot of the sort of traditional ideas of craft that we have, whether it's painting with a paintbrush or with photography, taking a picture with the camera, a lot of that is very different now. But again, don't forget, it took photography years for it to be regarded as an art form. People thought it's just a machine, you're just pressing a button. And then it developed its own aesthetic criteria. The idea of the decisive moment with the camera being part of that.
Should artists be concerned about AI in the arts, or should they be excited?
Well, they should be both. And it depends who you are. Again, not to overuse the sort of tired metaphor of it being a tool, but it is. Fire. Is fire good or bad? It's obviously both. It's what we do with it. There's absolutely some artists who, an illustrator, for instance, or an actor, who, should have legitimate concerns about, in the same way that a blacksmith had legitimate concerns when the automobile, was invented, or somebody shoot horses. I'm excited. I've always worked with, for me, as a photographer, I've always been more interested in post-production, sort of what happens after the picture is taken. And that space between painting and photography is something that interests me a lot also.
So how do you see yourself using AI in your work?
Well, I use it a lot, and one of the things that you asked before about sort of, what is AI, and I didn't really answer that question. In my world, there are programs out there, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, and these are programs that allow people for a certain amount of money to go on there, and you enter text and you make an image. But you really, there's a whole art to what kind of, how you phrase the text. You do multiple images, you sort of, it's a long process. It's not as simple as, you could just type in, a cat playing a guitar eating a waffle, and you'll get some version of that. But, an artist can do something interesting with that. So for me, it's a starting point. It's a place to get to an image. Then I can bring it into another program like Photoshop and manipulate it more. It's also important to know that programs like Photoshop, which was equally derided, Adobe Photoshop and a lot of other graphics programs are all incorporating AI into it now. So the new Adobe Photoshop has the ability now to enter text and generate images within your photographs. So I'll certainly be using that. And I think one of the main issues that people have, and the thing that people get most upset about, is they see whatever medium they're attached to as dying. And I prefer to think of it as changing. I mean, photography is dead and has been reborn in 100 glorious ways also, but it's a slow process. But that sort of traditional idea of darkroom photography is really not around much anymore.
So we have a few seconds left. I just want to get your final thoughts on this. Is AI art art?
Well, simple answer, yes, of course. I tend to avoid conversations about what is art because I think we're at a point now where generally people agree if you say it's art, and if you don't agree with that, that's fine. But that it is. But yeah, of course it is. I mean, it's if you start from nothing and you create something, you've made art.
Wonderful.
Whether it's good art or not is another question.
Well, I think this interview was a work of art.
Thank you.
Oliver, thank you very much for joining me on AHA.
Thanks.
And now for some genuine human emotion. Please welcome Sydney Worthley.
Making wishes in the mall fountain, throwing pennies, but I lost count when I remembered our first day here. I was 16, you're my every tear. Maybe you think everyone's out to get me, but I know for sure that you loved me the worst. Maybe you wish you didn't burn down my brick walls, put them all up just for you to shut me down. How can I forgive you when I can't even forget you? You'd wish I just let it go, and I feel like the bad guy for you ruining my life, but for us that's just typical. Wish I knew you when you were little, could explain why your kids still throw a tantrum, pick up the glass shards for you to grab one, stab me in the heart. Maybe you think everyone's out to get me, but I know for sure that you loved me the worst. I wish I didn't burn down house you lived in the attic, for sale signs in the yard now. How can I forgive you when I can't even forget you? You'd wish I just let it go, and I feel like the bad guy for you ruining my life, but for us, oh for us, for us. Your blood stain on the carpet, I've scrubbed hard, I can't stop it from spreading around the living room. A heart-shaped mess signed by you, heart-shaped mess signed by you, heart-shaped mess signed by you. How can I forgive you when I can't even forget you? You wish I just let you go, and I feel like the bad guy for you ruining my life. But for us, oh for us, oh for us, that's just typical. Terrible timing, your driveway sees me crying just about every time I see you now. This pain is a sign that I'm still alive, and I guess that's better somehow. Take me to prom, take me to my lowest point. Take me to prom, take me to my lowest point. My nerves are shot from this feeling, and I'm still trying to find the meaning. They said now this life will feel like freewheeling. How soon is now? Fatal attraction ends into satisfaction. Why do I cut my heart out just to survive? This pain is a high, I guess I'm still alive. If there's a beating heart, there's a will to thrive. Take me home, take me home, take me home. Take me to the loneliest heart I've ever known. My ears are shot from this feeling, and I'm still trying to find the meaning. They said now this life will feel like freewheeling. How soon is now? I'm learning self-love by hating you instead. Can't help but think of why I'm digging up the dirt. You said I'm letting you heal now, but how soon is now? My nerves are shot from this feeling, I'm still trying to find the meaning. They said now this life will feel like freewheeling. How soon is now? Oh, how soon is now? Oh, how soon is now? Did you think I'd ever love again? Fell forlorn with tattoos in a one-room apartment. Was the part of your wild imagination? Are you wondering where my lonely heart went? I've got your number locked in my phone. That's the only reason I didn't throw it down the riverside. Now your kiss is printed in my bones. The rest of my skeleton is in my closet with my pride. Did you think I'd take you for granted this time? Baby, I'm not 14 years old anymore. I left my foolish notions at my parents' house in Anaheim. hid my letters I wrote for you under my old bedroom floor. I've got your number locked in my phone. That's the only reason I didn't throw it down the riverside. Now your kiss is printed in my bones. The rest of my skeleton is in my closet with my pride. I have you dialed. I'm sitting on the curb at a rest stop between where you are and my old life in the suburbs. I want you to remember, if I ever made you feel something worth reliving, or just reminisce like a dusty film reel. I used to be reckless, like I perished at 17. I didn't disappear or leave a mark like I had foreseen. Now I'm a patient to time, on life support. I'm leaving a voicemail to the only love I was willing to hurt, wanting you to absolve me, like I could justify that. But I promise you now, if you give me a green light, I'll be on your doormat tonight. I know it was the wrong place and the wrong time, but if you give me the green light, I'll leave everything behind. I know you would have died for me, but I'm ready this time. I'll leave everything behind.
Thanks for joining us. For more arts, visit wmht.org/aha and be sure to connect with us on social media. I'm Matt Rogowitz. Thanks for watching.
Funding for AHA has been provided by your contribution and by contributions to the WMHT Venture Fund. Contributors include the Leo Cox Beach Philanthropic Foundation, Chet and Karen Alpelka, Robert and Doris Fisher-Melisardi, and the Robeson Family Foundation.
At M&T Bank, we understand that the vitality of our communities is crucial to our continued success. That's why we take an active role in our community. M&T Bank is pleased to support WMHT programming that highlights the arts, and we invite you to do the same.